Hi everybody, it's Claire back with another art journal video, and this is one where I have done some stamping onto some transparencies to create some focal points to add to my page. I'm a little bit obsessed with the transparencies at the minute, and I think the thing that I really love about them is what it says they are, which is that they're transparent. Oh my gosh, I'm just so clever sometimes, I astound myself. So I think one of the lovely things about them is that you can see your background through them, so you can still add the focal points onto your page and you're not hiding your background. And now I know there is a school of thought that says a background is meant to be in the background and you shouldn't be that in love with your background, but sometimes you do just create those backgrounds that you think, I really love this and I don't want to disappear it with adding anything to it. So transparencies are a really great way to get those images onto your page without losing your nice background that you've created. So I'm starting off using some matte medium and sticking some of Dina's collage tissue paper onto the background. So it's a great way to get started, get rid of that blank page. Obviously I've sped this up a tiny bit so I don't actually paint that fast. That did look crazy, didn't it? Then I'm going in with some magenta across the middle of the page, and as you see, it ends up spreading out. I was only intending working across the middle of the page, but then I just find it impossible to sometimes not fill the whole page. Then I'm adding three colours together, so I'm going turquoise, peacock and carnation, and I'm going to get those onto my 2-inch brush from Dina Wakley and just pull those across my page. It's a really great way of getting some colour straight onto your page, and sometimes the colours just blend really nicely together as you pull them across your page. So then all I did was went in with my finger and a smaller brush as well and just pulled some of those colours either up or down a little bit, just blended them out just to make that a bit less uniform where I'd pulled them across my page, and just to kind of spread it out a little bit. So then this is one of Dina's new stencils. It's called Cover, and I'm just using the curves of this to accentuate where my paint has gone across the page, and I'm going in with magenta. So I'm using the same colours, and it just kind of makes it all sit quite happily together. So with these blending tools it is possible to get those different depths in your paint. So if you kind of pull it around you get quite a thin layer, and if you like pounce your tool on your page you can get a darker application of paint. So this is the Floor Tiles pattern stencil, and here I'm going in with carnation, so again still using the same colours, which just helps it all be very cohesive and hang together really nicely. This stencil is lovely to use to kind of break up the background. You can still see the colours through it, but it creates that sort of effect where it's just pushing those darker colours in the background into the background even more. Yes, I like this one. Quite delicate. Okay, so once they were on and that was dried, so I do dry all my layers before I continue working. I just don't tend to leave those bits in the video because they're a little bit boring to watch. Here I'm going in with Orchid, so I am introducing a new colour, and this is the Mantra stencil. I really need to try and get hold of another one of these because a lot of the little places on the stencil have got really small with the build-up of old acrylic paint on there. So because I am very lazy and I don't wash my stencils. Yeah. But I guess with those ones it has kind of backfired on me a little bit. So these are the pieces of acetate that I have stamped faces on. So these are all from Dina's stamps. Some of them are from the squared stamp collection and some are from older stamp sets. I'm just checking here which side is the front and which is the back. Now I'm pretty sure that I have stamped these onto the transparency that has the frames on it already, and then I've just cut them out, and here I'm just gluing them in using Dina's ultra thick gel medium. This dries really clear, and you can't really see it there at all, and so far I've not had any transparencies fall out of my journals at all. So you'll notice I'm having a job picking these things up. So you might have, I do get lots of comments about my nails. My eldest daughter is a nail technician and she does my nails for me. And these are my nails. They're not false tips on them or anything, and I love them. I've never been able to grow my nails, and so this is really lovely. However, I just can't pick things up. So if you notice me struggling to pick stuff up, that's why. Yeah, it's my beautiful nails preventing me from being practical, but I don't care because I like them. So I've stuck all those in place, and then I'm going to go back in with some more collage tissue paper, because you notice that that's completely disappeared. It doesn't really bother me. For me, the art journaling, part of the fun of it is adding all those layers onto your page and getting them to all work together really nicely. So the fact that I did start off with a layer of collage tissue paper and it's gone, it doesn't matter at all. But you can always go back and add some more on top. And you can see that's still working quite nicely. I mean, in some places you can still see it a little bit, but sometimes it's nice to just go in and add more. So again, I'm just using the matte medium to stick that down. So this is a stamp that was from my most recent stamp release through Funky Fossil, one that I designed from my Journal Marks stamp set. It is just my signature dots. And here I'm just using some white acrylic paint with a blending tool just to pop those in place on my page. Make sure that you clean the stamp really well after. If any of you are interested, there are still a couple of sets of these Journal Marks stamps on my website too, and I will ship anywhere. Then I'm going in with a scribble stick and nudging the transparencies, which aren't quite dry yet. So I haven't dried them because the transparencies are a little bit temperamental. If they get too hot, they will buckle a little bit and it will alter their shape. So I do tend to try really hard and leave them alone. So those lines that I've drawn with the scribble stick are where I'm doing my journaling, as you can see. I'm using my Posca pen and just going in and making my writing follow where those lines go on my page. And I had more to write, but I'd run out of space because I'd written too big. So then I decided I would write the rest of it in a smaller pen and just go in with smaller letters, because you've had that awful moment where I was like, oh, no, I don't believe it. I really like this page and I've gone and messed up. But actually, it didn't matter because this worked perfectly fine. And I think this quote, isn't it something that we learn as we get older? I wish I could have told my teenage self this, that actually it doesn't matter to be different. You don't want to be like everybody else. We're all individuals and that should be something that we celebrate. But as a young person growing up, that's not something that we often feel is okay. So, yeah, hindsight's such a wonderful thing, isn't it? So I've gone in and just made those letters a bit bolder by adding a thicker line to one side of the letters on both the larger font and the smaller ones too. And it just helps to kind of make those stand out a little bit more. And then once that's completely dry, so I did very carefully go in with my heat tool, trying not to go near the transparencies. I'm then going to go in with the Signo Uniball in white. And all I'm doing here when I start to do that is I'm just adding what is almost like a shadow line onto the letters. So I'm not writing over all of the letter at all. And this, I really like to do this sometimes. And I think this works quite well on this page because I've got those white dots. And so it kind of pulls the lighter elements of the page together. And I just love how you can still see the background through and yet the transparencies catch the light as well. I think they do bring a really interesting, different dimension to journal pages. As you can tell, I'm a little bit obsessed with them at the moment. So, yeah, lots of fun. So this bit often takes quite a while. And like I said, you really do need to make sure if you're going to go in with one of these Signo Uniballs or any pen really that's a gel pen or a Posca or even a Sharpie, that your page is completely dry. otherwise you run the risk of ruining your pen and it never ever working again properly. So it's just not worth risking it really. Make sure it's really dry properly. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed watching me create this page of many layers, starting off with the collage tissue paper, then the paint, and then adding the 3 colours with the larger brush and stamping images onto the transparencies. It's a great way to add some fun elements to your page. So last but not least, I'm just going in with this bright neon pink Posca pen and just adding some marks on there. Just gives it that extra zing because this pink is just so bright and vibrant. Works really nicely. So here's the final page. I was really pleased with how it turned out. I did give them all little pink cheeks as well. Yeah, and that's it. So I hope you found this inspiring. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.